Very special guest today on the Say What Again Billy podcast. You know, people are wondering by the title of the episode why we're talking about health. Well, we're going into 2026, and in 2026, everybody, day one, they join a gym, they start getting into fitness, they start getting into taking care of themselves, diets, trends, all of that. And one big conspiracy in the world of all the conspiracies is the fact that the government and the world wants us sick. And there's a lot of people out there that say one thing is bad for you, one thing is good for you. You should be doing these workouts. You should be eating this diet, that diet. And we had a couple years ago a professional bodybuilder on to talk about it. And going into 2026, I wanted to bring on someone else that's heavily affiliated with the nutrition world, the health world, and even the MMA world. So I want to introduce to the podcast Brian Roff.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me, Billy. Appreciate it.
Of course, brother. It's a pleasure to have you on. So why don't you give everybody a little bit of information about yourself? Why you got into the health industry? What got you into MMA, opening a gym, the whole nine, and then we'll take it from there.
Awesome. So I'm going to try to give you the short version of it, but I'm a bit long-winded. So I started mixed martial arts in 2007. I used to get my hair cut down by Westchester Square, and my barber and I used to talk about MMA and boxing all the time. And he finally told me one day, hey, they opened up a place down on Westchester Avenue. I went the next day, walked in, signed up, and that was that. And I joined for two reasons. Number one, I watched UFC in '93 with my father, and I was like, oh, that would be really cool to do. If I ever get the opportunity to do that, I would like to try that. So that's number one. Wanted to learn how to fight, right? Number two was I wanted to look like those guys. The MMA fighters had the best bodies in the world at that point.
Right.
And it was like, all right, you could be tough and look like a sculpted god. I'm in for both of those things. I bought one of the partners out at the gym that I was training at in 2015, I believe. My coach. Shout out to Master Jim. And I have a partner.
Let me just move this.
Yep.
There we go. You're good now.
Patrick Kelly. So the two of us are up there in New Rochelle. My coach still operates the one in the Bronx, Parkchester. So I did that. I think I fought in 2015, maybe somewhere along those lines, right? So I fought my first fight, my MMA fight in 2015, won in the first round, and purchased the gym around that time also. And when you look at my pictures from 2015 in that fight, I didn't look like I had any business in a cage. No, none of the body that I have now. So I didn't get the part that I wanted. I wanted to learn how to fight. I got that. Was pretty good at it. And it almost made an excuse. I was tough enough where I could do that. So I was like, I don't have to look like, the abs and all that stuff.
Right.
But around 2020, the pandemic rolled in. And owning an MMA gym in 2020 wasn't the best of times, let's say.
Yeah.
Right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to get in great shape. Let's keep it positive. I hired a coach and was like a soldier. Did everything I was told. In 3 or 4 months, I went from 190 to probably 165, 170, which is the weight that I fought at. So when I looked at myself at 170 versus when I was in the cage, completely different.
Right.
It was nuts. And then people started asking me, what are you doing? How are you doing this? And so 2020, this all kicked off. I started Macro Set, and that's where the coaching began.
Wow, that's awesome. And, it's like a drug, right? When you start seeing the difference in how you look, how you're feeling most specifically, you definitely feel a lot better. Personally, this year, I had a few reasons to get motivated to get to where I'm at now. I always worked out.
Right.
Again, you said you referred back to certain pictures and how you looked at at 170 as opposed to when you hired a coach and you went down to 160 and your fighting weight. And this past year, I really focused and dialed in on counting calories and doing it to the T.
That's key.
Hitting the macros or just about hitting the macros.
I say within single digits without going over.
Right. And I was there, you know what I mean? And I was doing excessive cardio, which now I know is probably not the best thing. I had a lot of motivation.
I agree, by the way.
Was waking up at a absurd hour to go to the gym. And I look at the pictures of the past 15 years where I was just working out and I thought that I was eating right.
Yeah.
I thought that I was eating enough protein. I thought that I was lifting the right way. And I look back at these pictures, especially one from like July or May, and I saw like the most vascular I've ever been.
Yeah.
I never had a vein in my bicep ever. And I've been working out quite a long time.
Right.
And it just by doing something that has been said to me numerous years, my co-host Joey, gotta count your calories, you should do it. It took my second co-host Nick, who was working with First Form, to be like, try it out. And I did it one whole year and didn't really dial in until this past year. And now I think I have it down to somewhat of a science where I'm at maintenance. And this past weekend, it was my birthday weekend. So I splurged a little bit. For 2 days, I didn't count calories. I said, I'm not going to do it. And I am so used to this past year eating clean.
Eating a certain way that my birthday treat to myself is McDonald's. I didn't enjoy it. Yeah.
I did not enjoy it. My mom got me cookies yesterday. So I had McDonald's on Friday and some brownies. Didn't feel good waking up. I had one meal yesterday and then I had cookies at the end of the night. Didn't sit well with me.
Yep.
I woke up this morning.
Feel like shit. Which, by the way, is how most people feel
every day.
All day, every day.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling.
And that's what I'm fighting against.
It's not a good feeling. And woke up today, not feeling great. Kind of settled in, went to some events, and went to the gym and just resetting. And now I'm like, you know what? Come Christmas, I don't even think I want to touch bad food.
Yeah.
Because I'm just, and it's a mindset. And I like that when I have someone to talk to that is trying to help other people get into that mindset or macro set.
Yep.
It's a great thing. So now,
let me just touch on a couple things you said there.
Go ahead.
Right? So you said something like eating. I hear this a lot. People are like, I eat healthy, and I'm like, okay, how many calories is that? And they have no idea.
Right.
You can eat the most organic, nutrient-dense food that you can possibly find on the earth and overeat and be fat. Eating healthy requires understanding a certain amount that your body needs. You need a certain amount of protein every day. And I could even boil it down to, I can scrap carbs and fat and just say protein and total calories. If you just dialed those two things in, you could be in great shape. One of the other things you said was you figured out the science of it, right? Or something along those lines.
I have it down to a science.
Down to a science.
Yes.
That was what you said.
Right, I have it down to a science.
You have you down to a science. What people need to understand is that nutrition is affecting you in a way that you can control. So when you figure out the science of nutrition as it applies to your body, you can tune it in to have the best days of your life. Tell me this. Those days where you ate like shit and you felt like crap, were those high performance days for you?
No, they were not. They were terrible days.
Yes.
I did not do anything the last 2 days that was productive where the bad food was just literally sitting in my stomach.
Yep.
And literally one of the TMI, but one of the cookies was a dyed blue color.
Yep.
So when I went to the bedroom this morning, it was literally like blue in the toilet bowl. I was like, wow, that is straight up food dye all over.
Here's the thing. Once you've gotten to the mountaintop, let's say, of how good you can feel as a human, when you go back down into the swamp, you're going to feel terrible. And you start to realize how much money you're leaving on the table of your potential, right? You have this podcast, you do great things, being on point every day with your nutrition dialed in such a way where you feel amazing. And even more so, and we talked about this a little bit, the metaphysical aspect of this, of like living in alignment with that inner voice that's telling you, don't eat this, work out, don't do that. We all get told that. We all have that little thing going in our head. And when you listen to it, your day goes better. You ever have like one of those perfect days where everything went great, you're in a great mood, everything works right, everything went as planned?
It's been a while for me, but yeah.
Right, yeah. But I think that can be cultivated, that can be reproduced as long as you are following along with that inner voice. When you're doing what you know you're supposed to be doing, you feel good about yourself.
Yes. And you're right. And when I started seeing the progress in February, I had started dropping the weight. I seen the weight coming off, but I wasn't getting enough protein, and I was stressing a little bit, so I wasn't eating enough. So the calorie deficit was there, but I wasn't eating enough protein because I was stressed out about my father. And come the end of March, started really upping things.
Yeah.
And one day in March, I just was, you analyze yourself every day. You're on the scale, you got, and out of nowhere in the gym, it was in the gym, I saw the vein popping out of my arm, and I was like, whoa, I have never seen that. And it was like full on, the vein was there in my bicep. Never had that. Years of working, started working out 16, 15 years old. And that it sparked me. And then I just started feeling better at work. I was up early. My cognitive abilities were so amplified.
I think that's sorry to interrupt, but I think that's one of the greatest parts of this is when I finally got all of this right, my brain started working better. And it was like, of course my brain is working better. My body's on point. I made more money. I was better with my wife and kids. I was better everywhere I went. It's like, of course, your body that you walk around in is better. Why wouldn't it be?
It's a really rejuvenating feeling to just feel better, because I was, again, at work, you feel better. You're making better decisions. You're getting better lifts. I was playing.
You're in a better mood with your coworkers.
I was in a way better mood. I was playing. I started playing softball this summer again, which I had not done in a while. I just played strictly in the fall in a fun league. I got asked to play softball. I was performing better. I was playing a position that I don't normally play at my age. Where I have to move laterally more.
Yep.
And I was doing well. Everything was just different. Even just my mental state was different. And I think that's something that's important for people that, unfortunately, nowadays people are glued to the television, and more than the television, the phone.
Yep, social media.
And they are so accustomed to the quick fix for everything.
Yep.
Okay, I'm bored. I got to go on my phone.
Right.
I'm hungry. I'm going to Uber eat McDonald's. I'm going to Uber eat the taco spot that's around the corner, Chinese food, things of that nature. And everything is a quick convenience, which adds to them not realizing that within 2 weeks of doing that consistently, how they're going to feel.
Yep.
Which leads me to this point that I wanted to touch on with you. There's a lot of changes with how our food is coming out. It's no secret. The conspiracy is that
the food we ate 20 years ago, the Frosted Flakes you had 30 years ago is not the Frosted Flakes kids are eating today.
Right.
Just as an example, I don't eat Frosted Flakes, but
this is changing now. We have some changes in things. So I wanted to touch on, do you think now with all the changes with our new officials in the White House and health administration, is this going to benefit, or are you going to see changes with human nutrition in the United States?
I hope so. I think as a country, we're in such a terrible place nutritionally, physically, fitness-wise. It's a disaster. And people need to be held accountable. We need to take a hard look at what kids are eating, what's being fed. And if you are lower class, lower middle class, and your family's just getting by, you're buying the cheapest stuff out there, and who knows what's in it. It's not what it was 20 or 30 years ago. So eating whole foods is not cheap, but it's probably worth the sacrifice. I need to know what I'm eating. I don't really eat much when it comes to processed foods for the most part. And I think everybody, if you took a hard look at this, you eat a lot of the same foods over and over again. We need to make really good decisions on what those foods that we're eating over and over again are, because you don't know what's in there. And there's a lot to be said about that. And I could take that to a whole nother thing about it, you know, what we've seen the last 5 years going into your body that we don't know exactly what it was.
Oh, we touched on that plenty of times. We've had 2-hour episodes about that, and that was years ago, like right at smack dead after, 2021. We've done a lot of episodes about that, so we don't need to get into that, because then I have to put a whole thing
I'm not gonna. I don't want to say it if it doesn't need to be said, but that was a huge turning point for me. Huge turning point.
I always say, when we mention it, it rhymes with ouchie. His name rhymes with ouchie. But I get it. And, the one thing you said, that people are eating the same thing all the time, not knowing what's going into your body.
No idea.
When I was on my AIM game, I would say this past year, I was consistently eating the same thing. Over and over again, and I knew what was in it.
Let me ask you this. You're eating those same foods over and over again, but somehow you find a way to make them taste better.
Oh, I did.
You put a lot more time and effort into perfecting that stuff.
Yes. So fairly recently, I got tired of the Kirkland chicken breasts from Costco, which is chicken breasts in water, and there's not a lot in it. I looked at the label. I've been told by people, you got to watch what you eat too, like what's in it. There is a lot of processed food out there in the health world. Like, your protein shakes, your protein bars, they are processed.
And you should minimize that stuff. Should be used as an exception, right? You should be getting the majority of your protein from whole foods. Don't, if half your diet is protein powder, you'll still get jacked. You'll still be shredded. You'll be able to get into a deficit and all that. It's just not the best way.
No, you're ruining, you're looking better externally, but internally you're probably not doing.
It's still better than being fat.
Right. Yes. Well, this is the thing people don't understand this is not a shot to anyone that's struggling to lose weight, or people that are on the heavy side, but
I feel for you guys.
It's statistically proven that the more overweight you are, the less likelihood you have as for a longer life, and you're going to have health complications. Matter of fact, some fitness influencer fairly recently, and it's up for debate on exactly why he passed away. He was trying to prove that his diet to lose weight would work, but in order to do it, he put on
I saw that
10,000 calories a day.
Yep.
And he started doing it, and he ended up passing away. Now, he might have had comorbidities that no one knew about,
or a genetic predisposition.
Exactly.
Who knows, right?
But the problem is he was eating 10,000 calories a day, and there are people out there that unknowingly are eating 10,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
Not even realizing.
Don't even realize it.
And their body's so used to it. However, their body's used to it, but eventually it's going to take a toll.
That's the problem with health implications, right? It's such a lagging indicator that you can spend 10 years getting overweight until diabetes shows up, until the heart attack shows up, and there are increased risks of certain cancers being overweight as well. So cancer, heart attack, diabetes, nothing good comes from being overweight or obese.
No. And it's funny too, because this kind of segues into something. There was this recent years, the body shaming, right? Like we should be
right up until Ozempic came out.
Exactly what I was going to. So there was a couple of celebrities from Hollywood that have the limelight over the average Joes like you and I. And they were the ones that were preaching like body positivity.
By the way, they could have the limelight.
Perfectly fine. That's valid. I don't know if I wouldn't really want to be under the spotlight like that. But however, I've seen about 3, I think, Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
Right? The comedian girl.
Yeah. She's terrible.
Recently lost all this weight. And a couple other Hollywood elites.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden, the people that were on the bandwagon of,
But their faces look like Skeletor.
this is a telltale sign of Ozempic.
Yes.
You know, so the people that are preaching to you about body positivity probably got told by one of their doctors, like, hey, you got to drop a couple of pounds, and then they went on the easy way to do it, which is Ozempic, which is really, we've talked about Ozempic a little bit here and there. It's not the greatest thing.
Or maybe they weren't body positive; they were just lazy.
Yes, laziness. That's you know what's crazy. I'm not blowing up spots here, but I have a lot of coworkers that had seen me this year. And in the beginning, during the winter months when it was cold, they're like, "Oh, you know, you could see your face was changing.
Yeah.
Are you all right? You sick?"
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm losing weight." I'm like, if this was warmer weather, you would see. I'm like, you know,
I throw all my shirts away for the summer.
And what ended up happening is, come the summertime, it went from, "Are you sick?" to, "What are you taking?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got that a lot.
"What are you taking?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm natty.
Yeah.
I'm just doing. This is what I'm doing. I'm waking up at this time." Which I'm not doing that no more. I kind of need my rest now. But
listen, I think working out in the morning is the best thing.
It is.
Just because if I don't work out in the morning, life gets in the way. And then all day long, I'm like, when am I going to work out? When am I going to work out? It's all in my head. It's that inner voice that I got in conflict with now. It gets in the way of all the things where I need to be in my head.
I've experienced it, but there was just one point throughout the last 8 months, I got a little sick, and it really threw me off. And
look, if you're locked in, you're going to get there. Then there's no worry, right?
Locked in. So I've now come to the point where I'm like, all right, I need a little extra sleep in the morning, or I'll get up a little earlier and just get my mindset right. Now I'll tell myself all day at work, I gotta go to the gym after work. Gotta go. No stopping. Yep. I'll go push myself until I get to the gym after work and get through it. I did it. End of story. But during this past year, I was going early in the morning, and I was explaining to the individuals, like, they want to know genuinely, and I'm a helpful guy.
Right.
How did you get like this? What are you doing? And I says, the most important thing is the calorie counting. 100%. Knowing how much food is going in your body, so that you can either maintain the weight you're at now or lose the weight. And then once you lose the weight after a certain amount of weeks, find your sweet spot and maintain that weight. Mm-hmm. And I told it to them, like, I said what I was eating. I gave them blueprints. And a lot of them were like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And then they don't do it. And then they give me excuses. I don't have time.
Right.
I'm hungry. And I'm like, I found time to wake up at 4:00 in the morning to get to the gym, so that I know after work I can cater to my mom, who needed my help with my dad.
Yep.
And I can see my dad after work.
Right.
Otherwise, I wasn't going to the gym. And with that stress and not going to the gym, had I not had the inner strength to do what I did, I probably would be looking a lot different right now.
Yeah.
But there's no such thing as I don't have time. You do have time for yourself. If it's
everyone gets 24 hours.
There is time in the day for you. And you know what people don't realize?
It's prioritizing.
I don't have time. You're telling me that you don't have time for yourself. So if you don't have time for yourself to make yourself healthy, and you're taking care of other people, what are you going to do when something happens to you?
Yep.
And they didn't, you know what? So I gave my opinions. I gave my preaching to a lot of people.
It's a dereliction of duty. If you are a man, a father, a husband, a son, it's our job to take care of people. We are protectors and providers. That is our role in our environment for thousands of years. If you are taking care of your people at a lower level than you possibly could, what's your excuse? And what if the difference between the level that you're at now and the level you should be at or could be at cost you more than you're willing to spend, right? If someone attacks your family, you're going to be able to fight them off. If you're not operating the highest level possible, making the most money that you can, are you going to be able to pay the bills? If someone gets sick, are you going to be able to cover that medical cost? When things go sideways, are you going to be the guy that your people can rely on to get things done because you're on point? If you're less than that, you might not be able to get it done. And 10,000 years ago, that meant starvation and death and all sorts of things. Today, we're insulated from these things, but they're still out there.
I agree, 100%. Now, let me ask you this: we're going into the 2026, right? I have a game plan already. Yep. what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to do different,
Right.
How my calories are going to be, whatever. What are some of the things that you've seen this year on social media that were complete, utter BS?
Yep.
That you will tell people not to do going into 2026, and what you recommend as a coach?
Yep. So a few things. Carnivore was huge this year. Keto is still kicking around. Intermittent fasting still kicking around. If you can't do the diet that you're on permanently, it doesn't work. Period. End of story. As soon as you get off carnivore, what's going to happen? You're going to put all the weight back on and then some, because you're going to go back to your old ways. Now, the beauty of what we do with tracking your food is you build an understanding of the value of your food. So if my daughter's baking cookies, I'm going to have some cookies. I got a mean sweet tooth. Now, how does that fit into my diet? Well, I understand the value of my food. So if my daughter's going to be cooking cookies, baking cookies tonight, and I want to have some, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to cut back on my carbs and my fat earlier in the day and make accommodations so that I can eat all the ice cream. I like ice cream. I like cookies. If I can't eat that stuff to have abs, I'm not going to have abs. But I can. And this is what people don't understand. You can eat the foods that you like to eat, but in the right amounts. Until you understand the value of your food, which requires you at some point to put it on a scale and say, okay, this is 30 grams of carbs. This is 20 grams of fat and only 10 grams of protein. That's not enough protein. It's a ratio, right? If I need to get 180 grams of protein in a day, I need to know what I'm doing. If I want to lose weight, I have to be in a caloric deficit. That's like when you overdraw on your bank account, right? It's a good thing if you're trying to lose weight. It's a bad thing if it's your money in the bank account, right? So if you want to lose weight, you got to get into a caloric deficit. If you want to stay where you're at, you got to know you're not in a deficit and you're not in a surplus, which puts you at maintenance. By doing this and getting into a deficit and losing all the weight and getting shredded and ripped and all of that, feeling awesome, you learn what a deficit is and where you need to be to get into one calorically. And then by process of elimination, almost like, all right, if I'm not in a deficit, I'm either in maintenance or surplus. Once you figure out where those windows are, you can make your body whatever you want it to be. Eating the foods that you eat every day. You don't have to eat what I eat. You don't got to eat what Billy eats. Find out the foods that you eat and the value of it, and you can be wherever you want to be, and you're not going to be that hungry.
People always ask me, but I don't want to sacrifice this. I don't want to sacrifice that. I said, dude, I personally, this past year, I chose not to eat the junk food, which it definitely drastically increased my results.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
But I told people, I said, I found ways to still enjoy my sweet tooth, because I have a sweet tooth too.
Food tastes better when you limit it. When you limit anything, it has more value.
So I have a sweet tooth as well. I found Hummus Fit, and they make pre-made meals with macros and all line. I found a place that sells all the supplement and the Hummus Fit products. Foundation Harrison, big shout out to them in Harrison, New York.
Oh, you told me about them, yeah. Awesome, I gotta check it out.
Awesome place. Josephine and Joe in there. Awesome place. I highly recommend. And they sell Hummus Fit in there. They sell the Buffin muffins. They sell the meals.
You were telling me all about this. I got to get this.
Buffin muffins have been a godsend to me. Now, when I start my diet in January, for the first month or so, I could still have them, but not like I'm eating them now in maintenance. I could have 2 a night now.
So when you start your diet, just so everybody knows, he's on a diet right now.
Technically, yes.
He's going to start a cut or a deficit in January.
Right. So
you guys are all on diets.
Right.
Everyone.
I'm on maintenance, which is I lost X amount of weight, and you can chime in just to correct me, because you're just in my eyes the grandmaster. I think I got it down to a science. That's what I said. I started a calorie deficit.
The results speak for themselves.
I started a calorie deficit in January of 2025. I went all the way up to May. I was 188 pounds, and at my lightest, I was 148.
How long did it take you to lose the 40 pounds?
I would say when I stepped on the scale in April, I was under 155.
So when he says that, I want to pick this mic stand up and throw it at the camera, because it took you 4 months to lose 30 pounds.
And the first few weeks, I dropped a lot of weight quickly.
Right. So how many people out there want to lose 30 pounds? 3 months. That's 90 days. 90 days.
I went from 188 in January. In February, I was at low 170s already.
Yeah.
It was quick. And
it comes off quick at the beginning and then it slows down, which is just normal.
But I did excessive cardio, which also heavily,
not the best way.
Not the best way, but it heavily helped.
Yeah.
You know, but then it also affected. I had at one point, I'm not going to say I was great looking off the bat, but I had that skinny fat look.
Yeah.
And then I started increasing my protein and lifting a little heavier, and things changed.
So let me just interrupt you for a second.
Go ahead.
Right. So when you add excessive amounts of cardio, right, your body is receiving a message by the movement patterns that you have. So if you look at marathon runners, long distance runners, they look like they just stepped out of a hospital. I don't know too many people that want to look like a marathon runner.
No.
But all these people are running. You're sending a signal to your body that you need to travel a long distance in a short amount of time. If you had to go a long distance in a short amount of time, would you carry a whole bunch of stuff with you that you don't need? No. To run a long distance, you don't need a lot of muscle. But it's not healthy. You need a certain amount of cardiovascular health, right? VO2 max, let's call it, is the big measurement there. Doing excessive amounts of cardio is sending the signal to your body to shed weight. And when we shed weight, we don't just lose fat, we lose muscle. And that's why people don't look good. So you lose, let's say, equal parts muscle, equal parts fat. And that might not be exactly right, ratio-wise. But when you just become a smaller version of that 188 guy, so you end up still being overweight for your size, right? Just a little bit less fat, but also a little bit less muscle.
What helped me when I started seeing that I was getting too skinny and not, in my eyes, I was like, wow, I dropped the weight, was I increased the protein.
Yeah.
A lot. So the first few months, I was not anywhere near where I ended up going. I was like 145, 150. I increased that protein. At one point, I started seeing my tracking app that I use, First Form. No affiliation. We're not sponsored. But I ended up seeing on a consistent week basis. At one point, I was hitting 190, 200, 220, 200, 220 every single week at one point.
Yeah.
That ended up bringing out the veins. I ended up feeling less hungry because protein's very
more
satiating.
Yep.
And I saw the difference. So back to what we were saying is what I'm going to do in this new year is shred off whatever fat that I put on throughout the last couple of months of being on maintenance, which I've been in since May. I found a sweet spot. I referred to my old coach, who's my co-host, Nick. Everybody knows Nick. And we fine-tuned where I was at, and we watched the scale. So I went from 2,000 calories from my calorie deficit to 2,300. I was still feeling a little lethargic because your body's going to tell you, okay, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I need more carbs. I need more. And then your body's so used to it and your energy levels and what you were doing that increase in calories is not going to do anything but benefit your body, make you look a little bit better, more fuller, more vascular. Yep. And I fine-tuned where I did 2,500 calories. I even went away for a week and ate like a monster and still looked good. And when I came back, dropped the water weight, not the fat, within like 3 days and went back to 155. So when you get into your maintenance, you're going to gain like a pound or two back, maybe a pound or a pound and a half, but you're going to stay in that range where you feel comfortable. And since I went into my calorie maintenance in May of 2025, I have been sitting every day. I weigh myself every day, almost every day. I have been sitting between 154 and 157, 158. But that's because every day, every night is different. You eat more carbs, you're going to be a little bit heavier on the scale with water weight, glycogen levels, all that. People don't understand that. But I've maintained staying under 160. Now I'm coming off my birthday weekend where I had 2 days I didn't track, which won't kill you because your body,
especially when you've done all the work to be lean.
Right. You
could probably go a week before really doing any significant. You're not going to put a pound of fat on in a day or two.
Also, my activity level, which people don't take into account. I'm highly active at work. I'm highly active after work, before work, whatever. But I stepped on the scale this morning. I saw 159.4. I know what it is. Water weight. I know salt. I know by Tuesday, Wednesday, it's going to go back down to 155, 156. I'm pretty sure of it. You know what I mean?
That's how dialed in you are. That's how much you know your body. You guys need to understand and know how your body works. This should have been taught in high school. That's my argument. This should have been taught in high school. Nutrition at a level where it's like, hey, show me a picture of your parents. What is your body size? What is your body type? Let's talk to you about where you might fall in calories and macros and all that stuff. And you mentioned a really bad word in that last little piece you were talking about there. You said the word carbs. You were eating carbs. The carbs are poison and the devil, I heard. I
had my trend years ago with, I know you got me by a couple of years, but OG diet, the Atkins diet.
The Atkins diet, which is very similar to keto.
Yes. So I was all against carbs. I'm like, I can't have carbs. And I was buying.
Terrible.
I'll tell you a funny story. You'll laugh.
Your body loves carbs.
You will laugh at this. So my parents.
Good for you.
Parents went on a cruise and I was working. Didn't want to leave work. Didn't want to take off. I loved my job then and I love it now. Same job actually. And I was doing the Atkins diet and I didn't need to. I was in shape. I didn't need to. I was just doing it because I wanted to get shredded. So I started doing the Atkins diet, right? And I had a sweet tooth then. I still have it now. But I bought 3 bags of sugar-free chocolate, right? Which has the sugar, alcohol in it, whatever. And if you eat too much of that, you know what happens? You get excessive diarrhea. And I remember just having a sweet tooth. My parents weren't home. I threw the TV on, the AC. They were off for a vacation. I was dogging these 2 bags. I'm like, I'm good. This is nothing in here. Not even understanding
that was going to happen.
How that was going to happen and how nutritional facts work on the back with the serving size. Didn't know that at the time. Now I do. And know how to measure everything now. But I ate 2 bags of it. I think like within 2 hours, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with my stomach right now?
Yeah.
And it was bad. But carbs are not the enemy. You need carbs. As a matter of fact, carbs will make you pop, make you look good.
Carbs are your body's preferred fuel source. I don't care what anybody tells you. Period. End of story. Now, as far as keto goes, people are like, well, keto is good. If you can do it for the rest of your life, great. Good job. But as soon as you stop that, what are you going to? If you don't have a plan for coming off keto or coming off carnivore or whatever it is, you're going to ruin all of your progress. You're going to sabotage all of your progress. Why not just learn the nutritional value of the foods that you like? People are trying to shoehorn other people's diets into their lives. Joe Rogan does carnivore. Guess what? You're not Joe Rogan. You're not David Goggins. You're you. And you have your life and your job and your family that you eat the same foods for dinner that you prepare for your family all the time. Why not just learn how to eat those foods in the right amounts?
I think I told you this off camera. I did the vegan thing for a year and a half.
Wow.
Year and a half. And
that
I did it again. I did it for certain reasons. I did it to lower my cholesterol and train for this 1.5 mile run for something that didn't go my way. But I did pass everything. It was a police test. I did the 1.5 mile run. I needed to lose weight. In the beginning, I couldn't do the 1.5 mile. My friend suggested. My co-host Joe, he is vegan.
Right.
Still.
That's wild. I can't even imagine.
And he competes on stage. He's been in shows. And
awesome.
Props to him. Doing what you said. If you can do it for the rest of your life.
That's it.
But that works for him.
Yeah.
So good for him. And I tried it and I did it. No one thought I could do it. I did it. I passed the test. I was losing weight. My cholesterol dropped crazy amount from what it was. I had went to the doctor that year in August.
That was the only attractive thing to me about keto was I knew it would be hard to do, and I wanted to do it just because it's like something to accomplish.
I actually like the fact that I was proving people wrong.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
I was like,
I'm like that.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It does help your cholesterol. It does help inflammation.
I'm sure.
My cholesterol was in August of 2019, 280. And I went back in December, passed the physical test. I was like, yes, I did it. Did the run, was feeling good. I was lean. I wasn't anywhere where I look now. Well, I'm not vain, but it wasn't muscular looking.
How old are you?
39 yesterday. I turned 39.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're still young.
And I went to the doctor in December. It was a couple of months later. August, September, October, November, December. Like a couple of months, 3. And did blood work. Came up to me. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, what do you mean? He goes, your cholesterol. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, how bad is it now?
Yeah.
He goes, no, it's 170.
Wow.
So from 280 to 170.
Yeah.
Just by eating certain things.
Huge drop.
You know what I mean? Now, because we're running a little low on time.
Yeah.
What is your final suggestion to people going into 2026?
Yeah.
Should they really analyze and ask professionals off the cell phone about what they should personally do? Because everyone is different.
Yeah.
And what would be your recommendation to them going forward? Let's say they don't want to go as hard as us.
Right.
What can be a stepping stool for them to get into the right direction in 2026?
So number one, and I'm going to come off a bit biased here, you should get a coach. I got a coach. If you
It worked for me too.
I mean,
it did work for me too.
Part of I coach men. Part of the thing is that we need accountability. So much of our society and culture is built around a life where you go to work, you go home. You go to work, you go home, and there's no real cross between those two worlds, where the people at work also you live with them and you're relying upon them for survival, that sort of thing. Whereas again, I'll go back 10,000 years ago, we exist as a tribe, and we got to hunt woolly mammoths or saber-toothed tigers or whatever we do to survive, to feed our children. And you're getting out of shape, the whole team's going to turn around and be like, hey, Billy, get your shit together. Our kids are going to starve if we can't get this done. Whereas now, there's no accountability. So having a coach and maybe being part of a group or a team allows you to create some level of accountability, right? So, but let's say you're against the coach thing. You don't want to do that, whatever the case may be. You have to start tracking your food. There's apps out there all over the place. Just do it for 3 months. Do it for 3 months with the foods that you eat, and start to understand that you probably need more protein. Rule number one is you're going to need probably double the amount of protein that you're eating. And there's ways that you can do that just by eating the foods that you like to eat.
Not to interrupt you, that was my main problem when I first started the previous year. I was like, I can't eat that much protein. And now I find that it's so easy to do unless I didn't eat a lot of protein throughout the course of the day.
Right.
Then I'm playing catch up. Then it's hard.
The worst.
Then it's hard.
Right.
Like I did that today.
That's why for breakfast, I'm having 55 grams of protein every day for breakfast. First thing. I want to downhill the day.
That's a problem that I have to fix this year. I tend to wake up and have coffee and semi-fast until my first meal, where it's usually...
That's my problem with intermittent fasting, is how could you possibly get enough protein with just an 8-hour feeding window?
Yes.
It's nearly impossible.
Yes. So, yes, I agree with you.
That's my issue with that.
Protein is definitely a key. And then I would piggyback off of that is once you find out you're not getting enough protein and putting protein in your body that you need, when you said it right at the beginning of the episode, I'm eating healthy.
Right.
But you don't know.
No idea.
I told someone at work, same thing. I says, you're eating grilled chicken, right? You tell me I'm eating grilled chicken and I'm eating like white rice.
Grilled chicken salad. There might be 50 grams of fat in that salad.
In just the condiments
just the
alone.
Dressing.
Yeah, what people don't realize. And I said, you may be eating 3 pieces of grilled chicken, not realizing that an 6 to 8 ounce piece of grilled chicken alone is like 350, 400 calories, give or take, right around there. And if you're having that with a condiment, you don't realize. Chick-fil-A sauce, 1 tablespoon, is I think 12 grams of fat and 150 calories.
Right.
Or 200.
That's crazy.
1 tablespoon of Chick-fil-A sauce. So in that 1 tablespoon, you're already consuming 150 grams of calories plus 12 grams of fat.
Insane.
That's like Nutella. That was my kryptonite. I used to wake up at 12 o'clock at night and wonder why I'm not getting a 6-pack. tablespoons of Nutella out of the jar. So
the three things, right? Three things I would recommend. Number one, track your nutrition. If you don't want to do that, if I can't get you to do that, double your protein. Eat a gram of protein per pound of your ideal body mass. So if you are 200 and you want to be 170, eat 170 grams of protein a day. That'll solve most problems because protein is very filling. You won't want to eat a lot of other things. 170 grams of protein is a good amount of protein. You'll struggle with that. Number two, lift weights. 2 to 3 times a week, you got to lift weights. As we get older, we lose muscle. When you lose muscle, you're going to lose bone. At some point, you fall down, you break a hip, and you never recover. If you can keep the muscle, you'll keep the bone. You'll be less likely to take a fall. And if you were to take a fall, you would have more muscle tissue to get you through the recovery process without losing so much weight. So that's number 2. Number 3, again, I coach men. I don't do cardio. I'm not going to run. I might take a walk once in a while. I hike in the woods. I hunt and stuff like that. I walk my dog. That's about the extent of it. I think cardio should be done. I think everyone should do martial arts, and that's not just because I own a gym, right? I did martial arts before I owned the gym.
I agree. I like the fact that I know I can defend myself.
Every man should know how to fight, right? And that's where I get my cardio. If you don't want to do martial arts, find a sport that you do enjoy. A lot of people like pickleball these days. You mentioned softball. Do something that's going to get your heart rate up, because back to what I said earlier, VO2 max and muscle is going to be what carries you into a functional, long life, right? We all want to, I don't want to live a long time if I'm bedridden. I want to live a long, functional life. So I need muscle and I need a strong cardiovascular system. That means you got to do some cardio. So 2 or 3 days a week, I'm getting my heart rate up as high as 180, I think 183 recently beats per minute. So those are the 3 things. Yeah. Get more protein, lift weights, and work out. I mean, do something cardio, based that you enjoy doing. So you don't, it's not a drag, because cardio will be a drag if you're doing it as a workout.
It's not fun. I still do it. It's just mentally I do it just to get my steps. I try to get.
I'm going to get you in the gym training though.
I would, you know what? I'm going to come try it out. See if I still got it. I didn't roll like that. I started to learn, and I had dabbled in it, and my rolling skills weren't good. Like striking, I got it.
Yeah. Everybody starts at the bottom. It's okay.
Yeah, but we'll see. I'll get in there one day. But I try to do 7,000 on an off day, but I try to aim for over 7,000 steps and 10,000. 10,000 steps, give or take, depending on how you're walking, your pace, is about anywhere between 300 and 500 calories burned, which is good for someone that's on a deficit or maintaining.
Yes.
So
that's what I tell people in my program. If you don't want to do some sort of cardio or exercise, sport, I'm going to ask you to get to 10,000 calories, steps a day.
Right.
10,000 steps.
Yes. No, that's the best thing. Now, real quick, I ask every guest that when we're not talking about the paranormal, we're talking along the lines of health and the conspiracy of health and what you should and shouldn't be doing.
Right.
I always ask my guests, I have to ask this question: do you believe in ghosts?
I believe that there's things that we can't feel, see, hear, smell. There's things that we can detect now that we couldn't detect 200 years ago that people would have called magic. Right. So there's limits to our ability to sense things. What I'll say is I've had more than enough incidents that displayed to me that there's more than what I know. Whether you call that God or the universe or spirits or whatever, there's more than what we know of. So call it ghosts, call it whatever you want. I'm in.
I always say that people that are on the middle, where they on the brink of believing and not believing, and the people that don't believe even have something that has happened that makes them question or think exactly what you just said.
There's too many things. I don't believe in coincidences.
Right.
I don't believe in accidents. Everything's happening for a reason. I mean, like I said earlier when I walked in here, Billy and I got introduced to each other in the gym by a friend of ours, Frank. Turns out, Billy knows a very good friend of mine, Josh Stern. He'll probably watch this.
Yep. I hope you do, Josh.
And then I'm in the gymnastics. My kids are in gymnastics, and I'm there to watch the gymnastics.
And my daughter,
and he comes walking in. His daughter's on the mats with my kids. It's just too many things. This was meant to happen.
It is. Listen, especially this year. I am a firm believer that things are meant to happen. Everyone you meet, everything that happens is meant to happen for a reason. Now, I want to give you.
There's something that happened literally last week, right along those lines, that I'm not talking about yet, but will be at some point soon. That is right there. Even hunting 2 weeks ago, I shot two big bucks, and I would say there was something else at work there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's all positive.
Oh, 100%.
Good. Now, I would like to give you the time to tell everyone your Instagram page, Macro Set, the Jungle Gym, everything that you are affiliated with.
Sure.
So that if people are interested in talking to Brian about their health or training, they have the outlets. And I will pull it up on YouTube.
Sure.
The pictures of whoever's listening, tell them, and whoever's watching, I'll pull up everything as well.
You got it. My business page is Macroset Method, macroset.method on Instagram. Also Coach, and then 2 underscores Goose. That's my personal page. They're both the same. You can message me either place there. You want to come fight me in person? I'm at Jungle Gym New Rock at least 2 or 3 days a week.
I don't recommend it.
I would enjoy that. Or if you just want to come train and hang out, shoot the shit, I like to talk, so you can find me there. New Year's is right around the corner. I got some special things going on for New Year's in my business. Listen, I work with men who know that some part of their life is missing. A lot of times what happens is you put yourself on the back burner. You sacrifice yourself physically for your career, for your family. And at some point after 35, 40 years old, you wake up and you're like, how'd I get here? Something's missing. I lost a step. And you start to realize you're not living up to your potential. And there's something more to give. That's who I'm here for. If you know there's something missing and you need that fire back, that spark back, you want to feel that edge again, that's what I'm here for. Because I believe that if you can physically get into great shape, you can mentally get into great shape. And my goal is to get guys back into great shape where they feel alive and on fire again. And then I want to help them get a raise, get a promotion, have a better relationship with their wife and kids, become the man that we were meant to be. And I think that will solve a lot of the problems that we're seeing in the world today.
Listen, that sounds great. So if you're in that boat where you need motivation, or you're especially in the New York area, the city area, 5 boroughs, you got to reach out. I just pulled up all the information. Hit up Brian Roff and make sure that you can go in the direction to find what's missing. And I've been doing a lot of motivational speeches this past year, especially what I'm going through. Men's health is very important. So, take care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself and you have other people to take care of, and you're not at the par with yourself, then you're going to fail everyone else that's around you.
When you slip, everybody else falls.
Right. Exactly.
They're relying on you.
It's like a tripod. You knock a leg out, the other 2 legs are going to fall down. Now, of course, what's your pre-workout? There's a reason I asked this. You take a pre-workout?
I don't. I take water and an electrolyte drink on my way to the gym.
Caffeine at all?
Coffee after.
I'm glad you said coffee.
Yeah. I love some coffee. I like good coffee, right? So I'll do a coffee after the gym, and then I'm going straight into my meal plan. I've been eating the same breakfast for over 5 years.
I don't know if you heard about them yet, but it is a really good coffee spot that I'm going to tell you about. And of course, they help us out. They sponsor us. How You Brewing Cafe in Tuckahoe, New York is the place to go, with over 14 different flavors of iced coffee. And of course, their hot brews, their Americanos, macchiatos, espressos, and they have sweet treats in the glass when you walk in that you can have in store or take it on the run. How You Brewing Cafe in Tuckahoe, New York is the place to go for your coffee, and I hope that you go there and try them out because they have really good coffee.
And if you get your macros locked in, you could eat all of those goodies in those glass containers that he's talking about guilt-free.
They are actually healthy treats.
Even better.
You got it. They're gluten-free. There's protein cookies in there, so they actually Leo and Greg, they actually tend to the healthier crowd with that stuff in there. So How You Brewing Cafe in Tuckahoe, New York is a place you got to check them out and tell them that Billy from SWAB Podcast sent you when you go there.
Will do.
It's a great place. And of course, this is all made possible. Big thank you to Spotify for Creators. If you don't know about Spotify for Creators, it's the free app that allows you to get your podcast idea out there. If you have a phone, tablet, or computer, head over to Spotify for Creators to get started. Everyone, thank you. Brian Roff coming on.
Awesome, bro.
It was first podcast, right?
Yeah.
Did phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
You did
cool.
phenomenal.
Awesome.
I can't wait to make some reels and send it your way. You can use it for your stuff. It's awesome. It's always good to mix it up a little bit. And
I like to talk.
I'm going to get you on one more time, but we're not going to talk health. We're going to talk weird shit. I want to get your input on the weird stuff. All right?
I'm into that.
But until next time, this has been another episode of the Say What Again, Billy podcast.